Hello, LinkedIn community and YouTube. My name is Sophia Marine. I'm an incident responder at Microsoft and a cybersecurity enthusiast. If you'd like to learn more about cybersecurity in general, feel free to like and subscribe to my channel. And let's begin. Yes, in today's video, we're going to be covering the basics of how it's important to know about token manipulation, what we can achieve with token manipulation, and attack technique of sending a mass spam email using MSGraph. So this is going to be a three-part video series starting today. So today we're going to talk about something we have already discussed in the past with our adversary in the middle type techniques, right? Adversary in the middle basically depends on the framework. Right now, we're using Evelnix. So what Evelnix provide us is that you can create an uh, URL that you will send out to a user. This URL will look legitimate, and the user will input credentials, and we're gonna take that session. So one of the cool things about Evelnix is that, as you could see here, I have multiple sessions, right? So if I go into session number one, we're seeing a different domain, right? Name is 2000 tech than in session number three, that is Choking for Fun, right? One of the things that we want to understand is that Evelynx, what it captures, it's a cookie, right? The cookie is what we present to the browsers. Now, what happens here, as you could see over here, this is the malicious URL, right? And it's going to have that domain. With Evelynx, you can then put a root certificate, and it's going to look like if it was signed. Now, apart from this, uh, we need to understand what actually we're getting, right? What we know is that we have this token, right? We know we have this token and we could authenticate. So, as an example, here in Chrome, I'm going to the sign in over here, and I have here the cookie editor. By having this cookie right here, I can sign in. So, as an example, here we're gonna go ahead, sign out. And if we wanted it to use this one, we just come ahead, grab all the cookie, take this one, go into cookie editor, delete them all, import. We do sign in, we refresh. Let's make sure. And there, we have now another session, right? So this is a very cool thing. Now, what we know right here is that we can log in to the Office portal. Now, an actor wants to do a lot more damage than just to access the Outlook. So now, how can we achieve that? And putting our black hats on, one of the really cool tools I've been using, it's Token Tactics. So actually, this tool I found out because it was also inspired by AD internals. Another, like, these two tools are a must in your toolkit. Either if you are getting into pen testing or you're doing blue team exercises, it's going to be super good for you to understand how actually works. Before we get into the tool we want to use, I want to go over some of the Microsoft documentation to cover the basics because we have been saying token, cookie, sessions. So, to begin with, in Modern Auth, one of the things that Microsoft has done that is provides you three types of tokens, right? One is an open ID, and the other one are part of the auth. What does this make sense now? Um, First, so the last one that is called ID token. So ID token basically it says that I am the client, right? Whether the access token is for me to go and access the information, and then I have the refresh token that is for me to continue having access. Now, a refresh token is going to be available as long as you refresh it. The access token is going to be 1 hour by default, you can change the lifetime, and the ID token is always the same because you're always that same user. There are other tokens that we will be covering later on in videos. Now that we know, the point is that you want to have the three of them, right? Three of them is like Pokemon, collect them all. Now, what how can we achieve an access token? We need to know also the client, right? So for me to access, let's say Outlook or Azure Portal or MSGraph, I need to present that client ID into that token. How can we do that? And that's exactly where this tool comes. I'm gonna bring here the PowerShell that I had already built. Okay, let's run this. So basically how this tool is going to work. So so it's about a module. So it has multiple functions. So here we are. We have just imported the module, the token tactics, and now what we're going to do is that we are going to use one of the other cookies, and we are going to take this cookie and connect to MSGraph. Right? So, what we're going to achieve now that, as you can see on the screen, this tool basically has a lot of functions because this is a PowerShell module, right? So, in the documentation over here, right, uh, you could see the different commands that you can use. And what we're going to be doing is connecting, first getting an Azure token and getting an Azure token for the client we need though. Okay. Okay, I'm typing in the wrong screen, and let me get here PowerShell, and we're going to say get Azure token, and the client we're looking for here is MSGraph. Now, what happens is that this is going to simulate an authentication. We actually prompting for the authentication. So basically, if I come here and in this session, right, I have already this cookie. So it automatically will think it is the user that has that cookie. So I don't need no user interaction for this. This is not it. Here we are. We are taking the same code to sign in. Let's make this bigger for me. And this is the one that's already signing, right? As many as I want to, as long as it's signing. We're gonna say yes to this. And it's gonna take a second. It's gonna authorize. And now you could see, right? You could see first the scope, right? What permissions this user has. Then the access token, the refresh token, and the ID token, right? Um, Now, the access token, as we mentioned, is just valid for 1 hour. This access token, now we can use it to connect to MSGraph. Now, another important thing is that, the adversary wants to be able to do something. So we know here what are the basic things. By having this user read basic, well, we could achieve technically an enumeration technique. Okay. And that's what we are going to be doing right now. We're doing a enumeration technique. Okay, so for the enumeration, what we're going to be using is MS Graph. We know we already have the access to. So basically, I have here this following command. Basically, this is saying put in the access token one variable, and you need to convert the security string in order to connect the response token that we just achieved. Okay, so boom. Where did my bad? I had an extra character. Okay. Now we can say connect. Okay, we just converted to a string, and the next thing we're gonna do is going ahead and connect. So it's gonna be connect MXGraph, access token, and access token one. Mhm. My bad is aim MGgraph. Okay, boom, we're in. So from here, this is a small lab environment, but what you could do is that you're gonna do get mg user, so any user, right? You can say all, and then you could do fl id, and what we like more is both the user principal. Basically, this is going to list all the users, the ID, the mail, and user principal. Why is this good? Because if you're going to be doing a sort of a password spray attack, or you want to do a targeted attack, this is what you need, right? You need to know what is that is configured. We're going to do this with a little bit of more power in the next cookie. Okay, so we go back here, and we're going to take this other cookie, and we're going to demo the same thing. Now, our purpose is going to be using MS Graph again, and the MS Graph, what it's going to be achieving is to create a brand new user from scratch for our next video. This new user from scratch is going to be useful because we're going to be a mail user. So by having a mail user, you could start doing a phishing campaign from the start. Okay. Because one of the main things that happens with phishing campaigns is that they are caught. Okay, well, let's start from here. The reason why they get caught is because usually the user, either somebody reports them, right? Or the user just notice different emails. So if you build a user first, you're gonna have a foothold, right? You already have a possession. You already can set this user, and you can go ahead and register MFA. Then um, once you send an a big campaign, depending on the user that you have created and depending on the security pillars, you will be able to even create an application. And again, this is going to be opening the door for for a possible backdoor, right? In an application, and that application can access more things. So this is what we're going to be seeing through the series. Just to level forth here, we're going to see how MS Graph will be useful for someone that barely has the user right activity. So here we are, we just sign in. We go back to PowerShell. We tell PowerShell, hey, I want to get me a token. I come over and I take the device login. And I want to mention this tool, you could use it for multiple clients, meaning Azure Portal, Azure CLI, right? There's going to be a lot of options by using this tool. So we're going to say continue. Okay. Going to authorize in a second. Yep. Sign in. Again, we get the access token, and we're going to be doing the same activity. So we don't confuse, we're going to take that access token, we set it to 2, and we are going to say please connect me. Okay, boom, we're in. For this demo, actually I created a little script. So let me show it. This is really easy, and it basically has the main formatting, right? So for you to have a mail, you gotta run this. Okay, so now we're gonna create the user, and here we are. We have now an email user that we're gonna use for the part two of the series. So thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I hope you have a great day and hope you have learned a lot. Bye bye.